Use watermelon.
Been trying them ice cream yet.
I don't know. Yeah, she ain't told me. That's for her to tell me.
What? I know that.
I don't know.
I ain't seen it before.
I have no idea, baby. I have no idea.
Yeah. What's that?
Oh, damn. My fault. Feel that? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
What is this? What is this?
What?
Oh.
What is it? Fruit?
Salad.
Salad. Are they good enough? Oh,
Salad avocado. Salad avocado salad.
salad, avocado salad.
Salmon. Salmon.
Salmon.
Salmon or salmon?
Salmon salad.
Salmon, salmon.
Doing my-
That's a good one. I have to make
A
this.
salmon salad. A 7-layer salmon salad.
Cucumber, quarter, 1 cup of cherry tomatoes, half, 15-ounce can of corn, drained, black beans, rinse.
A 7-layer salmon salad.
Bag edamame, 3 green onions, chopped carefully cilantro. Cup of fresh lemon juice, 3 large onions, 2 tablespoons of lemon zest, cup of firmly packed fresh basil leaves. A cup extra virgin olive oil. 4 tablespoons of white wine, vinegar, 3 cloves. I'm not gonna make this the weekend.
Good, good. We about to give our little afternoon teaching. I hope everybody had a good day at work. And whatever you do for your income, I hope you had an amazing day. I hope you made it out safe and made it back home safe. I know I'm having a good day, man, and I have an amazing day as always. I always like to tell my family and friends to share this on your social media and your platforms. If that's all you can do. If you can't, if you're not in a position to send a donation to our temple and school, which is fine, please just share the information. Share the information. So I always like to start off with pre-topics just to get the people mind wondering and get you in a position to think about things. And let's see, I can bring you on camera if you want to come on camera. I always add people to it. That be live on here. Always, if you want to be part of it, I can add you to the camera so you can be there if you want to on my Facebook page. But I want to talk about a few things. I'm gonna talk about the faith-based initiative, which I share with all my members in class and all my brothers and sisters. And I just like to put content out in the world. I like to put content out in the world. So I always say gratitude, Islam. Hold on, I'm just sending an email. Yeah, hold on. Oh yeah, gratitude. I was just reading some emails. Apologies, man. Just give me 1 second. But we was having some conversations today. Oh, I was just responding to somebody that sent a donation. This is one of my muftis. But yeah, Noble Malik, you can send her that book. But let me see. 1 second, y'all. Okay. Okay. Islam Moso. But before I get into the teachings, man, I always like to give a little subtopics. And like I said, I'm going to talk about the faith-based initiative and what it is and why certain religious houses, when they take that money from the government, why the message is always the same. But I had a couple conversations with a couple students that I love to talk to, and they always say, "Well, Sheikh, Rabbi, Melchizedek, divine minister, you make it simple, and it's the simplicity of how you teach." Because I always try to make it plain for a child can understand it. Nothing that I say is complex. Nothing that I speak on is complex. Nothing that I speak on is arbitrary. I challenge everybody to research what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, apologies. But we were talking about some things today on campus, and we like to use analogies and things. And we were talking about a monkey, not a monkey as what they call misnomer black people. But my episode there laughing. My episode there laughing. But a monkey, bananas, and money. And if you put money and bananas in front of a monkey is going to go straight to the bananas. And I say, of course they will, because monkeys don't know the value of a dollar, and the monkey don't know that that money can buy them more and more bananas. Say if the monkeys only have two bananas, and then they eat the bananas up, but it's $1 million in front of their face. The monkey is not going to say, "Oh, I can buy a plethora of bananas with this money, fiat, whatever you're going to call it." So they're going to choose what's right in front of their faces. I call it face value. And then we talk about the analogy of just wanting to eat right now. And so when we're talking about with misnomer black people or anyone, but I just like to use ourselves as a speaking point because I'm not here to talk about nobody else ethnicity group. I'm just here to share some things with my brothers and sisters because I love my brothers and sisters and everybody else of the world. If you agree, then that's great. But I do have a mission, and my mission is to resurrect those that look like me and also those that understand what I'm saying. You're more than welcome to be a part of what I do. But I have a message for specific people to get us back to loving each other, to get us back to caring for each other. And so I use the analogy of working a job and having a business. How a lot of our brothers and sisters, they brag, oh man, I worked 100 hours this week. And I'm like, okay, so out of all them 100 hours you worked, what have you put up and what have you saved? What have you saved from all the work that you're doing? What do you own? And are you trying to get a business, or are you going to work until you're 75, 80 years old and retire? Now the retirement age is 70. So you'll work all your life, and then say you retire at 70. I hope you have a life to live. And I hope you in good enough health and took care of yourself to live. Because most people eat like trash. They don't work out. They don't drink a lot of water. And after their working days is over, they die. And they die with debt. I ask everybody when they talking about, oh, you can get a business loan and do all this. How many misnomer black people have got a business loan for their good idea? How many of y'all you do business with the bank? Your checks go through the bank. You're not getting no business loan. No one on here has gotten a business loan with their idea. One, because banks is not going to give a misnomer black person a business loan. And most misnomer black people don't have the assets to get a loan. You must have a certain percentage to get a business loan. And these are facts. And facts are stubborn, but we don't sit down and talk about economics and talk about these things as we do business with these financial institutions. But when you're doing business with these financial institutions and they use your money to make money, are you able to borrow from them to springboard your endeavors? And the average person, I know you can't. Most of my muftis have companies. You financing your job. I mean, you financing your company with your 9 to 5, with the little income that we have. We would go to college and get all these letters behind our name to work low income jobs. And then people brag about how much time they work on a job. And most of the misnomer black people work with their hands. They work in General Motors. They work with jobs that's low income with degrees. And I ask everybody that say they have businesses, have you gotten a business loan from your financial institution? But they'll give you a mortgage. They will give you a loan for a vehicle. Go to your financial institution and try to get $100,000 business loan and see what happens. I know what's going to happen. You're going to get rejected. I know this for a fact. Why? Because you don't have the assets. But they will give you a mortgage loan, a $200,000, $300,000 or $400,000 house. They'll say if your credit this low, you got to put 10% down, an HOA loan and all these things, and you still paying the money back. But they're not going to give you a business loan and put you in a different tax bracket. It's not going to happen. And I was able to talk about this in academia. It's the same way where say when you get in trouble and they got a bail bondsman, and you and people that got money, they can bail themselves out, which is criminal in certain states. Which is criminal in certain states. If you see what's happening on right now in Texas, the feds came down on a lot of these bail bondsmen because they only prey to low income communities. And so when I talk about a job, which is nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, believe me, we have to pay for our living. But then when I talk about businesses, and the first thing we'll do, we'll get a job. But how many people can pass down a business to their children as they work for, say, 10 or 15 or 20 years as they working? Because you can't pass down your 9 to 5. So when a person be talking about generational wealth, what type of generational wealth do misnomer black people have for their children? None. And you've been doing business with your bank or your credit union for over 5, 10, 15, 20 years, but you cannot go to that financial institution and get $100,000 loan to springboard your business. But you can go and get a mortgage and get a car loan. You never thought about that? You never thought about that. You're not going to get it. So I'm just here today to just love on my brothers and sisters, because it's a lot that's happening in the world today, especially when I talk about politics, which a lot of my brothers and sisters, they really don't know what's going on in politics. They just jump behind a political party or misnomer agenda which they have no ideal about. And then when you vote for someone, you're not gonna know the rules to hold a person accountable, especially your vote. And then what happened to the young Empress, Miss Massey, out in Chicago, when people say all lives matter, which is cliche, but your life should matter. Your life should matter to us. The first thing to say misnomer Black Lives Matter, it should be to you and I. We should have a better respect for each other. We shouldn't look at each other as the enemy because we might not have the same understanding or might be miseducated. Well, here's the opportunity to educate yourself. Here's the opportunity to bring up your vocabulary and bring up your etymology of words and bring up your understanding of history, law, and physics and finance and nonprofit business startup and have a real conversation. You should not be mad at your mothers or no one else because here's the opportunity to learn something. And my temple in school is not a church, we're a school of different Moorish Americans and true light seekers that want to learn something, that want to change generational curses, that want to change things in our lives. So when we were talking about on campus how a monkey would choose the bananas instead of the money because the monkey don't know the value of that dollar and the monkey don't know that he or she can go and buy a plethora of bananas. And it's the same analogy or parable with misnomer Black people when we talk about a 9 to 5 and when we're talking about a business because you can't pass that job down. And we looking at personal, how can I say it, gratification because a lot of us live way beyond our means. A lot of people live way beyond our means. We get a little bonus and instead of us saving that, we'll go find out a way to give it away. A woman, and I'm not disrespecting a woman or a man, but I'm just using that as a speaking point. A lot of us have more money in our closet and outside in the driveway than in our bank accounts. I know people every 3 years, they'll go lease a brand new car and then complain about, oh, I want a business. I'll say, okay, well, you leasing a car that's $700. Your wife leasing a car that's $700. That's $1,400 right there. But you say you want a business. A lot of people say they might want to start cooking on their own. They might say they want their own food truck or per se. Okay, well, I do the research. I can show you how much a full trailer food truck already done with all the bells and whistles in it. Less than $5,000. Am I right, Empress? Mm-hmm. But we say we want some things. There it go right there. We don't take the opportunity to do things. We don't got Americanized from the wrong perspective where we think having things and being in debt for the wrong thing is valuable. Most of us are in debt for clothes and for a car that depreciate in value. Most people drive their car to work and home and it's parked. When you're going out of town, you getting on the plane. Did you drive your car to Miami, Empress? Where was your car? Parked, right? You're flying. So your car is not making any money. Even when you get a mortgage, and if you don't have a how can I say a house, a complex with multiple living quarters, it's not worth nothing. But we, as misnomer Black people, we think that's a status because we live beyond our means. We broke rich. We are broke rich. We are broke rich, and our credit is in shambles. And our credit is in shambles. And so when it comes down to a job, a person would brag, oh man, I work 200 hours a week. But how much money do you have? You have less money than you had. And you work all those hours just to give it to Uncle Sam and don't want to be educated on tax brackets. I speak about this all the time and it still fall on deaf ears to the majority of my people. And at the end of the year, the more money you make, you're going to give it to Uncle Sam willingly because still people like to hear me talk and other people, Europeans that I counsel, they take advantage of everything I'm talking about. And misnomer Black people and a lot of my members just want to hear me talk. My Empress just came home today, was talking about a show like, babe, do people know what you be talking about? Was like, because we can already have some things. How? With the money that you work and that you willing to give it to Uncle Sam. If you're part of religious and a charitable contribution of your choice, that means you can file exempt. How? Not for 6 months, not for a year, but forever. Why? Because you already donating your money to a charitable and to a religious contribution of your choice. And you should get a tax exempt receipt. And then you should know the law in your state to know the percentage of income to offset the money that you're going to give Uncle Sam. And I know all that. But what do? Our people think they're giving me something instead of deciphering their finances, and I can help us build. We can own things. I know people that know how to cook, that's chefs, that's vegans, and have their own tea companies. But okay, we don't have our own trailer where you can drive with your own food truck and you can make all your vegan dishes. We don't have that, and that only costs a couple $1,000s, some change. The money that we give Uncle Sam, and then people think they're getting a tax return. I say you're not getting a tax return. You're getting a small tittle back of what they took from you from the whole year. The whole thing is not giving Uncle Sam nothing, but yes, taking care of the local and the state. But the federal, we are tax exempt for the federal government, religious, charitable, scientific, and educational wise. We don't know that. And I continue to teach this. I continue to educate, especially my members, and it's still not happening. Just like one of my muftis. No disrespect, I'm not going to say my brother's name, but things should be imperative. I give people tax exempt receipts. And if you don't get a tax exempt receipt from me each year, I don't know why you don't say something to me or my empress for you can get your tax exempt receipt. The more money you make, the more taxes that you're going to give if you're not filing exempt and you're not donating that to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice. But what happened? It fall on deaf ears with misnomer Negroes and Moors. They just want to hear me speak. And no one is taking advantage of nothing. No one. Why? Because we live beyond our means with our finances. And my European Jewish colleagues, they split their money 3 ways. They teach their babies in the womb about charity. They teach their children not to give their money to Uncle Sam. Why you think all politicians have organizations that's tax exempt from the federal government and all their rich friends support that and decipher the money that they were going to pay their taxes with, they give it to their organizations. When people say Donald Trump don't pay taxes, no, he don't to the federal government. He donated to the organizations that he like. But we don't understand that because our people are lost due to a lack of knowledge because we refuse to learn. We are caught up in spookism. We don't even teach our wives this. A man can be part of my organization. They can have their wife in the same house and be under the science and then let their wives just willingly give their money to Uncle Sam. And then you will raise your taxes that you let Uncle Sam take out your check. This is how asinine a lot of our people are because they're lost due to a lack of knowledge. But then they say they want businesses and they want to have a business. And I say, you're not making enough money to finance a business. The money that you give Uncle Sam, if it's going to a pot and if it's going to a leader that understand this, then we can decipher those finances and do some things. We can own some land, but all we do is just talk and march when someone kills us. And I'm not marching. When they killed my brother, I told them preachers, I ain't marching. Where I'm gonna march? In my community? For what? When the police kill you, what you gonna march? You're not changing no laws. You're not having nobody accountable. You're not putting no money behind no movement. And people be brag, especially a lot of my people, I'll make 100 grand, but you ain't doing nothing with it. You're not doing nothing with it. And then men say that they the head of the household, but they'll let, no disrespect to our ladies, because they go both ways with ladies and men. You will let a person that don't understand finances make all the financial decisions in the household just because they mad. Don't nobody care about nobody feeling. And that's how we operate. We always operate on how we feel, not operating on what's right, not operating on business. We operate on how we feel. When a person say, I love you. Man, love in our culture is more than a feeling. That's cliche. I want you to be my business partner. How can I have an empress in the house with me that make an income and I make an income and we don't have nothing but we paying bills? And all our assets and all our money is tied up in bills. We are living above our means. The man make 100,000, the woman make 100,000, and y'all don't even have 100 grand, and y'all don't even have a business. Y'all not even donating y'all money that you giving to Uncle Sam to your religious and charitable organization of your choice and getting a tax exempt receipt. Not even having that conversation. That's the problem that I have with a lot of my misnomer Black people. And as I steer away from dealing with my people, as I move away from this poor science stuff, and I start dealing with people that understand what I'm saying, as I start jumping out into the real world and dealing with people that say, hey man, your people not listening to it. You got members, you've been teaching these members this for years and they still not even supporting you with at least 10% of their income. And then at the end of the year, they write Uncle Sam a check because taxes are only for entrepreneurs and business people because we're not educated on tax codes. And then the first thing we started doing is making excuses. Well, I wasn't this, or my mama did this. But you're here now. You're here today to make up for what you didn't know then, now, and when you know. And when we continue to do the same thing, who's the fool? We are, because your tax money does not go to run United States of America. It sits in a private banking system. You can ask anybody. Go ask your tax preparer, shouldn't you have a religious and a charitable contribution that you love to donate your money to so you can get a tax exempt receipt so you just don't be giving your money to Uncle Sam and you can see work being done in your community. You can see your religious organization owning land, owning businesses, and then you can do in-kind service along with your tax exempts that you donate to your temple. And a lot of our people don't even know what in-kind service consists of. In-kind service is when you working for the church. It's like accounts receivable. It's like a receipt that your religious organization can give you along with your tax exempt receipt to offset your taxes. I'll give you an analogy. Say if you were donating, say you make, I'll just say a small number. I'll just say $65,000. Or I'll just start with a low number. I'll start with $40,000. Well, 10% of your income is $400 a month, which is $100 a week, and more spend that like it's nothing. Some don't, but they waste it. So say if you donating $200 to your organization because you can't afford the 400, or you done made some financial mishaps and you getting yourself back right, and then you work for your temple and school. You send out emails. You go. You like a advocate. You giving letters and posting and doing all that stuff. You know, you go into your community giving out flyers, and then your religious organization say, well, that's a value of $200 a month. I can't give you cash, but I can give you in-kind service of $200. So on your tax exempt receipt at the end of the year, you will have your tithes, the little offering that you give here and there, and your in-kind service. So just off your so-called tithes or your membership dues and your in-kind service, that would be $400. So you do 400 times 12 is what, Empress? 24 times 24 is what? 48, right? Okay. So therefore, if you're doing 48, that's 10%. But in each state, you have to give a little bit more than 10%. Some be 13%. I know the tax codes to tell you that. In the state of Arizona, if you make 65,000, you have to donate at least 13,000 of your income. And that's before taxes. If not, you're going to willingly give it to Uncle Sam. So why not be a part of your religious and charitable contribution of your choice that's trying to do business, that's educating you, that's buying land, that have our own temple and school, that in the summertime when the kids are out of school and you still working, you can bring them to our physical temple. We can feed them with the lunch program through the state, through G-Card, because I work for my dad in Flint, Michigan as one of his directors. And we have Meals on Wheels, and we have a summer feeding program where we have all our educators in our temples and schools, and they can volunteer their time. But we don't have that because we thinking we getting a tax return. And I'm telling you, you're not. And that's the miseducation of the average misnomer Black person that I deal with every single day. That I've been, especially people that's under my auspices, still giving their money to Uncle Sam. Why we being laughed at? Why my European Jewish people laugh at us? Why all my people that got nonprofit organization laugh at us? And they say, y'all still steady paying all those taxes? That's why your community's in shambles. That's why, Sheik, you'll never have a temple and school that look like ours. Why? Because the people don't understand about donating. Here it is, misnomer Black people call themselves the original Jews, but don't understand about splitting their money three ways. But we say we are the original this, we are the original that. But you're not abiding by any customs to build your community. I sat and watched my professor and them when we stayed in North Phoenix, how they started with a small little daycare. Then they opened a middle school. Now they have a high school next to their Catholic church, huge. And every Wednesday, if they don't make it to service, every Wednesday they go up there for prayer or for mass and they give their donation. And they get a tax exempt receipt because they don't care about no black and white thing. They say it's a people thing and a government thing. And the government's not going to take care of them. Why? Their religious house take care of them. When their kids want to learn, they send them to the temple and the school. When they want to do things, they don't ask the government to have programs. They have their own programs. How do they have programs? Because the people donate. And then they apply for grants that they don't have to pay back. Why? Because they under an organization that can get things given to them and they don't have to pay it back. But we don't have that. Why? Because we give our money up willingly, especially my brothers and sisters that's under my ministry, that's working a job, that I can give you a tax and receipt. And I sat down and talked to y'all that I can do in-kind service for you because y'all all work for the temple. It still hasn't happened. And that's why I call Moorish science poor science. That's why I call a lot of Moors Ninja Turtles, because it's a whole bunch of poor stuff. It's a whole bunch of I want something from the government and some sovereign citizen crap. But everybody work. We're supposed to be pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, just like all other nationalities did. That's why they have a fight in this world. That's why they hold people accountable, because they put their money behind their leaders, their educators, and their spiritual leaders. And they don't have no entertainer or no basketball player or no actor as their spiritual head or the person that educate them. They don't have no entertainer enough. They say, we don't care about no basketball playing person. We don't care about no actor. You're not my spiritual head. You're not my educator. Who is the one that educate us? The ones that put that work in. That's why you would never know a spiritual leaders in a European society, or the Albi, the Trelodite, or the European Jewish society. Why? Because they known for that. They're not known for doing stupid stuff. They expertise is doing exactly what I do. When all my European people say, well, you just an educator and a teacher and a divine minister, your people supposed to support that, especially the ones that's working, just like Harry Belafonte told those brothers back in the day. He said, all y'all Negroes that's playing sports and entertainers, y'all don't have to say nothing. Give it to those leaders with your money. But what we don't, we let people, those so-called money managers, talk about, well, they paying my taxes. Yeah, and they getting a tax break. You should be able to tell them, no, I want my money to go here. I want this X amount of money to go here. I want this X amount of money to go here. And I just need a taxes and receipt from those organizations to build my neighborhood back up. But we don't know about that. Entertainers, rappers, basketball players, they don't know about that. And we go back to our communities after our basketball days over, after our rapping days over, and our community is in shambles. We don't own nothing. And people don't know it, that you can support your religious and charitable contribution of your choice with your tax dollars, and it fall on deaf ears. Especially when I talk about Sopranos, and I ask a lot of people, why do y'all think Sopranos was under the Catholic Church? Why do y'all think the Sopranos and the Teamsters, they owned everything, and the Catholic Church owned everything? Why do you think those gangsters was able to go testify to the priest? Because that's lawyer and client confidentiality. Black people have no rights. If you go say anything to a black preacher, that black preacher is going to get what? Subpoenaed. He's going to get subpoenaed. And so that's where I said I'm at the limit to where I jump on here for free, and all I ask is for a donation, and I have a full library. But for my people, especially my members that don't understand what I'm saying, and I've been saying this for over 5 years, because most of all my brothers and sisters been with me for over 5 years. Really, what's the point? When brothers can't even donate $200 a month, and they act like they're giving me something. And I said, you're going to give it to Uncle Sam. Don't you know that? Especially for my brothers and sisters that make 100 grand, that make 55,000, 60,000, 70,000 with no tax deductions. What do you think is going to happen at the end of the year? You're going to owe. If you sit up here and lie, then that's the problem with us, because we'll lie in front of somebody to make it feel like we know something, and we don't. And then the first thing we do is complain. But you have the right to where to pay your taxes. You have the right to support your religious and charitable contribution of your choice and get a tax exempt receipt, because the religious laws trump everything, and we don't know that. And then a lot of people say, well, my church and my pastor didn't say that. Well, I wasn't educated with that. Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about now. That's why all my brothers and sisters that know me, your wives and your families, y'all should be part of this. Especially my brothers that say they can't afford it. You can afford it. Why? Because you giving it away at the end of the year. How? On taxes. You got to write Uncle Sam a fat check instead of giving a few dollars And then the work that you're doing, because all my brothers are ministers, y'all got to understand that. And then you get your in-kind service tax exempt receipt to add to your giving. But we don't. We act so niggardly. But then we brag, oh, I'm working 100 hours, or I'm doing all this, or I'm going from job to job, or I make this amount of money and I got a promotion. But what are you doing with your finances while we bragging? Because I can pull up my European colleagues, but they say, well, you've been telling them. We don't want to tell them that. We don't want to tell them that you can use your own money to help your religious and charitable contribution of your choice. We don't want to tell them that. You've been telling them. You supposed to be the Messiah for your people, not us, because we understand what you're saying. We teach our own kind the things that you teaching your people, especially those that talk about they some Jews and don't do nothing with their finances, especially my members that always talk about, oh, they don't have this and they don't have that because you're not saving and you living way beyond your means. These are just facts. And I tell everybody, research what I'm saying about tax codes. The average Negro don't know nothing about tax code, especially my people in California. They don't know that you can give 60% of your earned income to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice. 60%. So say if you making $1 million a year, that's after taxes, and you know what your taxes to be. You can give 600,000 of the money that you got to your religious organization. You can give 60%, but we don't. What we do, we give it to Uncle Sam. Instead of supporting our organization, especially the brother that we say we love, and then think a person going to use their own finances to get a brick and mortar, to do everything. And that is not how things go. The people help us do this. How? By you working at your regular job and supporting your organization. How? With your tithes and offerings and with your work, with your in-kind service. I told y'all, the religious laws trump everything, and we don't know that. And I've been teaching this to people forever, and it fall on deaf ears to the misnomer black person. I'm in Arizona, which is a red state. I'm from Flint, Michigan. I go back home, the neighborhood look messed up. But when I lecture out here to all my European colleagues at GCU and at their churches and at their synagogues, they have their pens. And then we have special teaching. And then they have me come lecture on campus. And then they say, why do you do this? I say, because I don't want to be the only one. They say, so what? But we'll pay you. And so now I'm in a situation where I have to do what I have to do. Why? Because it's falling on deaf ears. We're not going to get nowhere just working a whole bunch of dead-end jobs. And the more money you make, you just buy things and buy things and buy things and buy things and don't invest. And say, I want to have a business. I want to do that. I want to get a business. But what do you do with your money? Oh, I want to have a food truck. Okay, why you don't have a food truck? Why you and your old lady that's making money don't get a food truck? Because food trucks don't cost a lot. And you all right? And trailers, that don't cost a lot. I just showed my wife you can get a trailer with all the bells and whistles to have your food truck for under $4,000. We can be a multi-million-dollar organization in a calendar year. We can be $100,000 organization in a calendar year. How? With the money that y'all giving to Uncle Sam. We should be buying supplies. We should be buying Fez. We should be buying books and things for me every so often, my members, and getting the taxes in receipt because I'm tax exempt for the federal government, religious, charitable, contribution, educational wise, but we don't. We're not taking advantage of nothing. All we do is argue with our brothers and sisters, and we think magically we're going to get something. And we're not, because we're not organized. We're not organized. And I'm speaking directly to my family, my friends, and my members. That's a part of BBT. That's giving pennies off the ground. That's been giving pennies off the ground forever. I don't ask nobody for 10%. And then when I talk to my professors, they say, you're not getting 10% of your people's income. They're like, well, what they doing with it? Well, how they expect you to get a brick and mortar with your own money? I'm not no multi-millionaire. Most of these ministers and these priests, they're not multi-millionaires. The people help them get to where they are. And then the bigger they get a salary. A lot of these organizations are old. How? Because the people put that together. How? With the money that they work, they give donations. They do in-kind service. But what about us? We're going to always be at the bottom of the barrel. Because when I teach education, people just want to hear me talk. Like a couple of weeks ago when I was in Flint, Michigan, I did a special a meeting with all my brothers and talked about tax codes and talked about the advantage of being ministers, how you get tax codes and how you get a tax break for all this. And still, This was 2 months ago. And what's happening today? The same thing. It falls on deaf ears with Negroes. Even Noble Drew Ali, he said, I need help. I need y'all to support with y'all finances. But what we do, it still falls on deaf ears. We never have nothing. And I'm not upset at no one. I understand the mental capacity that we have and how far we have to go, and especially from those that know it and then think just because you know something, you can spill it out your mouth. But then when a European asks you, well, what you doing? What you donate to your organization? Are you giving 10%? Are you giving the percentage to offset your taxes, or are you just doing just enough and giving pennies off the ground? You can't say you supporting all the way in, because they can break you down and call you a liar right there. No, you're not giving 10%. No, you're not. Most of my people don't. None of my people give 10% of their income out of my organization. No, but all the things I do for them, I give them books for pennies and dollars. The type of information that I have, that I went in $100,000, $200,000 debt to get this information and to buy all these books and convert to PDFs and all this and give to my brothers and sisters for free or for $5. And sometimes I get nothing in return from my people. That's what happens with me. A lot of times I get nothing in return. When I lecture and stuff, I get nothing in return from a lot of my own people. And I'm not discouraged. Look at all our scholars back in the day and all our brothers that was heavy. Look at Malcolm. He died poor. Dr. Ben died poor. All those brothers, they died poor. All of them, they died poor. They died poor. And they don't understand that your ministry, when I got in college, that's what they send their kids for. If you an educator, if you a priest, they send their kids to school to do what? Come back in a community and be exactly who they are. They're not saying, oh, you a priest and you got to work a 9 to 5. No, you need to be available 7 days a week to minister to the people. And then your organization, your brick and mortar, you have ministries. You have basketball, you have counseling, you have so many things in there. You have people to help you with taxes. You have after school activities. You have health and wellness. You have workout. You have all those things in your so-called church house that's tax exempt for the federal government. But we don't. Miss Black, normal people say, oh, Jesus didn't need no money. They be telling their own leaders to go get a job. But this is their profession. If they went to college for it, for business and for spirituality and for linguistics and all that, that is our profession. It's only lazy preachers that say they've been called to ministry. You're not educated. And that's where I say we are so far behind with what we're doing, because everybody working, especially those that's part of my organization, is not giving from their heart. They picking up rotten apples off the ground. And that's what we do as a people. No way my people should be in a good tax bracket and don't even have children and don't even have debt and all that and not giving 10% of their income. That tells me that you living way beyond your means. That's what it tells me. And so when somebody asks you a question and the first thing Negroes do is get mad, when one of my European Jews would get on here and ask you, do you support your temple in school, the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple in school, with your time and your finances? 100%, yes. They ask you, are you giving 10% of your income? You can't say yes. Nobody can say yes, because it's just a fact, and we can't get mad. And then they ask you, well, how much you making with your job? Are you making this amount of money, this amount of money? And then they'll look over your recurring bills, which is your rent, your bills, your electricity and ETC, those things that we call recurring bills. And then once they do that, and that should be the same, they say, well, I see where your money going. You spending your money osmosisly. You spending your money osmosisly. You are not living under your means to support your organization that you say you love. And that's why we don't have nothing. And we pass by all these European churches and all these nonprofit organizations that have these big buildings. But you see a lot of Moors that's on the internet arguing with each other. And then people that's a part of my organization, it don't matter if we don't have 100 people, 2, 3, 4, 500 people. We should be small and mighty, because it don't take a lot of us to make an impact in the world. Especially if we have family and women that we're dealing with. This is a re-education. And so we were talking about the faith-based initiative and how it's harmful. And the Anti-Defamation League is strongly pro-religion, national human relations, and civil rights organizations. That's why when on campus, my professor was saying, you have to create your own and your people have to help, because you're not preaching that Christendom. You are actually educating. You didn't go to seminary. You came to a university and was able to study and was able to go to the libraries. You are part of the Philosophical Research Society. You are part of a whole group of people that studies and intellectuals. My professor said, you are an intellectual. You are a thinker. You are a philosopher. I'm not a dog where sit spot. No one can name me nothing. And so if all my people under my auspices and they agree and understand what I'm saying, why are we changing the world that we live in today? And for a century, to close to a century, it has been an ardent advocate of religious freedoms for all Americans. The ADL believed that the best way to safeguard religious freedoms is through the separation of church and state, embodied in the First Amendment Establishment Clause, which allows Americans to practice their various faith freely and boldly. When people call themselves Moorish Americans and they talk about they want to expatriate themselves from this de facto government, well, go back to the continent of Africa or go to an area where it's a dictatorship and you can't have religious freedoms and you will get your butt hanged for speaking out on what you believe, but you hate America so much. America is the only place where you can use your tax dollars that you will give Uncle Sam and decipher them to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice to help it build. But it fall on deaf ears. And to this end, the ADL strives to advance religious liberty by opposing government interference, endorsements, and entanglement with religion. In the fair words of the distinguished U.S. Supreme Court Justice Black, a union of government and religious tends to destroy government and degrade religion. That's Engel versus Vital. The faith-based initiative represents a dramatic shift in the way government funds social welfare services. You all right over there?
Me,
Yeah.
I'm just getting stuffy.
For our nation's most needy citizens. And that's when you see a lot of these churches and these big churches, the reason why they operating like that, because they got the check. They got the faith-based initiative check. I'm not getting that. I understand about tax codes and being tax exempt for the federal government, where I can use our money and our tax dollars and I can give you a tax exempt receipt and I can do in-kind service. You should want to be a part of that. But I'm not getting no faith-based initiative and the government to tell me what to teach, what to preach, and how to teach it and preach that Christendom. I'm educated. I'm anointed. I'm consecrated. If I wasn't here to teach righteousness, I could have been just fell in line and preached false doctrine and went back to my city of Flint and been under the Baptist Congress and got the faith-based initiative. I could have got that a long time ago. My wife know that. That's why I left the city of Flint. I didn't leave the city of Flint because I was disgruntled or because things wasn't working my way. I left the city of Flint and the churches that I was a part of because they were lying to the people. They weren't supporting the people. When I'm ministering, preaching, and teaching, all the church people like, we didn't know that. But you've been part of this church all this long time, and you don't know that the church is tax exempt for the federal government, and the money that you pay in your tithes and offering, you should get a tax exempt receipt, and you're not getting one. And at the end of the year, you paying taxes again. Why? Because your so-called preacher is not an educator. They're not an educator. I could have been got the faith-based initiative and just be running my mouth. But I'm educated and I know better than that. I put my faith in the people. My faith-based initiative, I put my trust in the people. And a lot of times they say, man, when you put your trust in your people, when you expect them to do something, they don't. They just want to hear you speak and then they just get up and leave. Well, my professor said, how many people listen to you speak online and multiple times and never give $10 or $20? How many of your people that's part of your organization don't get 10%? That's why a lot of people, ministers, they don't believe none of the crap they saying. But they know in order for them to get something from the government, they have to teach a certain way and preach a certain way to get that faith-based initiative, which I call polyparroting and hacking. It's just what it is. The design and implementation of the initiative raises serious and deeply troubling implications for the religious freedom of all Americans and the integrity of our nation's religious institutions. This publication seeks to provide answers to frequently asked questions about the faith-based initiative. And I'm gonna give a little bit of that and then I'm gonna get right in my topic because I always like to give subtopics of regular conversations that I like to have and I have on college campus with regular Americans, with regular American citizens that rock with me. So the first question is, what is the faith-based initiative and why is it problematic? This is what they asked me on a college campus, and I was able to do dissertations on, and how I got my European colleagues that rock with me. Because we ain't worried about no color. The Creator created us all. Hate come from your family and your upbringing. Hate come from your family and your upbringing and your community. Don't blame that on God. The faith-based initiative is a federal program that provides houses of worship, religious organizations, and other faith-based institutions with federal funding. Listen to what I'm getting ready to say. To deliver government-mandated social services. Let me say that again. The faith-based initiative is a federal program that provides houses of worship, religious organizations, and other faith-based institutions with federal funding to deliver government-mandated social services. So when people be like, oh, you tax exempt this, I'm under the laws. The laws work for us. We abide by the law. But I'm not going to lie to the people. That's why I would never get no faith-based initiative, because I'm not teaching government-mandated social services. And under this initiative, for the first time, houses of worship and other pervasively organizations and institutions are eligible for billions of taxpayer dollars. Now go ask your preacher and your mama who is getting those monies. You are giving it to these organizations and you don't even know it. And you don't even know it. Why? Because you paying your money going to Uncle Sam. You're not deciphering it to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice. So they making the decision for you. How? With your tax dollars. I just told you that your tax dollars don't go to run the United States of America. It go to their organizations that they want and how they decipher them. And if you don't understand your rights and your religious rights, then they're going to tell you where to spend your money. Why? Because you're not supporting your religious and charitable contribution of your choice. This should be easy, what I just displayed. And President George Bush originated the faith-based initiative in January 2001 with the creation of the White House Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiative. And the Bush administration, advanced its initiative through a series of executive orders. And these executive orders did not contain adequate constitutional and anti-discrimination safeguards. They opened the door to government-funded proselytizing of beneficiaries, and in many circumstances, explicitly allow religious discrimination in hiring and firing within taxpayer-funded programs. Renaming President Bush's creation the White House Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships, President Obama has continued the faith-based initiative by implementing new constitutional safeguards. President Obama's executive order takes some important steps toward restoring government and religion to their proper roles. However, problems remain, including religious discrimination and hiring, firing within taxpayer-funded social services and other programs. What is charitable choice and why is it controversial? The faith-based initiative builds on the controversial concept of charitable choice that was first enacted as a part of welfare reform, drug treatment, and job training initiative during the Clinton administration. Charitable choice means that whenever the federal government allows private organizations to assist in the distribution of social welfare benefits, it must also give religious organizations and sacred institutions an equal opportunity to participate. Existing charitable choice provisions do not contain adequate safeguards to prevent the use of government funds to promote religious beliefs. And they permit religious discrimination in hiring for government-funded programs. So when I talk about this faith-based initiative, it's ran by the government. And when my people get these jobs and you in a high tax bracket and you don't understand that you're supposed to decipher your tax dollars to our organization, especially my members that don't give 10% of nothing, they don't understand that these big churches in our misnomer Black community, the reason why they operate, and they've been operating for so long, because they have the faith-based initiative. They have to teach government-mandated religion. They have to teach Christendom. All you got to do is ask them. I'll start showing you all the churches in our community that got the faith-based initiative. And you have to sign a contract. What? To teach false doctrine, to teach that you a slave and that Black stuff. And I keep telling people that's part of the faith-based initiative. And all you got to do is research what I'm saying. I don't want to go too far into it, but research the faith-based initiative. Research it. I send you the document, and all my members have it. So when I talk about tax codes and when I talk about these things, it fall on deaf ears to misnomer black people because misnomer black people think that their tax dollars actually go run the United States of the government, and your tax dollars sit in the private banking system. I'm a private banking system. The Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School is a private banking system. All you got to do is go ask your tax preparer when you file your taxes. The only people that's getting a tax return is those ones that's filing false taxes, claiming they aunties and they friends' kids, getting them fake social security numbers. And I tell people, tax returns and taxes is only good for entrepreneurs and business owners. When you part a religious and charitable contribution of your choice, your church, your pastor, your temple supposed to give you a tax exempt receipt to offset your taxes. And then you got to know the tax laws in your state, because in some states you have to give more than 10%. That's where in-kind service comes in. That's where in-kind service come in. What you mean? If you're working for your church or you doing ministry for your church, like I'm a small organization, I can't pay you out your pocket. But if you're giving 10% of your income, and if you're giving less than 10% of your income, the work that you're doing for me, say the person that's reserving all the hotels when I travel, or a person that's booking places for me, or we put money together, or sending out emails, or sending out flyers and all that, that's a form of in-kind service. When my muftis do book club, when my muftis do workout class, that's a form of in-kind service. So nobody can tell me the worth of that in-kind service. Your in-kind service, that what you say on paper has to match what I say. And that's the tax exempt receipt that come from me. That's itemized. So if my mufti, Malik Reed L, he's on my Instagram page, he's our minister of health and fitness and wellness. And I say, okay, mufti, I can't pay you an X amount of dollars, which I know your service is worth. But since you giving your tithes and you giving 10% of your income, I could say this service that you do is worth $1,000 a month, because it is. $1,000 a month ain't nothing but $250 a week. So now tacked on your donation that you give each month, if you're giving 10% of your income, and I just say break it down to say if you're just making only $40,000, which is $400 a month, and you live under your means, not just spending all your money to look like you got something, and on cars and leasing cars, which depreciate in value, and then your in-kind service because you're working, that means, therefore, you're giving and you donating $1,400 a month. And you times that by 12. And then you see what's gonna come to. When it's time for you to do your taxes, and when you get your taxes in receipt from your organization, you're gonna offset what you gotta pay Uncle Sam. A lot of times you may get a tax return. Why? Because you have exceeded your giving. That's $16,800. In the state of Arizona, if you make 65,000, you have to give 13% of income. That means you have to donate at least 13,000 a year to your organization. And if you're part of my organization, which I do in-kind service for you, because you are a minister, look at it, bam, you're going to exceed what you are obligated in the state of Arizona. And then I got brothers that make 100,000 and can't even donate $200 a month. When I give them books for free and $5, when I teach them how to help them do businesses, and they all say that they learn way more than they ever did their whole life, they'll testify and say, man, I know right now with the information that I know, you can go to college and get a history degree, get a civics degree, go to the university and take religious classes and get a degree in first century history and religion and pass with honors. Guaranteed. Why? Because I'm your tutor and I got the degrees. You want to go get a bachelor's degree in business management with a minor in marketing and sales and nonprofit business startup, I guarantee you, no matter what university you go to, I guarantee you, you graduate with honors. Why? Because I have the information and I have those degrees. But what do? My people, oh man, I got to go pay my taxes. And you let some tax preparer lie to you, and then you act like you're doing way more than what you're doing, but you're giving your money to Uncle Sam willingly as a willing obligor. And you know it, and I know it. That's why I said I'm getting to the point where a lot of the stuff that I'm doing is going to be over. That's why I'm doing so much content right now before things change for me. I've been telling a lot of my people when I say I'm going to be gone in a minute. Not like I'm going to be dead and gone per se, but everybody is going to leave this earth in the physical at one point. But I'm not going to have time to do this anymore because it's not valuable. Just like my mom post on my page and share, who do you know that's gathered and compiled all these books? I give my books to my members for nothing. How many of my members buy my books and say, Sheik, I'm going to continue to buy your books and just give me a tax and receipt to help our ministry grow? Sheik, I'm going to buy these books. I'm going to do these things. Nobody. I'm going to be gone in a minute. And when I deal with European colleagues and when I give away books, I walk out the house with way more money, than I ever made. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, Mufti. And this is what I tell my people. It fall on deaf ears. We'll never have nothing. Why? Because we don't support it. We are fake. We rich broke. We get value out of giving our money to other people. We get value out of buying clothes and going to eat. And there's nothing in that. And then at the end of the year, my people want to come to me and say, Sheik, can you do this and do that? But you ain't even supporting the ministry with the money that you make. You willingly giving it to Uncle Sam. You willingly giving it to Uncle Sam. If you make 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 a year with no tax deductions, you write Uncle Sam a check every year. I wish my dad was on here because he'll testify. Because I educated my own father and my mother. My dad is in a high tax bracket. He'll tell you. I said, Dad, you're not giving me nothing. You're going to either give it to Uncle Sam or support your religious and charitable contribution of your choice. Go ask your tax preparer. The tax preparer was like, your son is a minister. He's tax exempt for the federal government. Why are you not helping him? Why are you not campaigning for your son? All my friends that's in the NBA and doing all this, that's in a high tax bracket. Man, we giving our money away. So until we get this, like I told my people, I'm going to be gone in a minute. That's why I'm trying to put as much content out here. That's why I'm asking my people, create your podcast, interview me with specific questions that you want to have and have Q&As for I can put this content out there so nobody can say we didn't know. I'm doing content every day. And here it is. I'm getting emails from Europeans and from all my college students and alumni wanting to interview me, and none of my people want to do it. It took years for one of my members to create a podcast, and I'm glad my minister did that. Journey to Knowledge Yourself, and he interviewed us, and I said, okay, well, interviewing everybody, that's fine after we talk about our personal journey, but now it's time to interview the source. It's time to interview the source on specific topics on history, law, agriculture, where we can come together, and tax codes, and about allodial deeds and allodial titles, and why we should support our religious and charitable contribution of our choice, especially y'all that's working, and how your money don't go to run the United States of America. It sits in a private banking system. So if you know that, then what? We got to stop making excuses, talk about, oh, my church didn't tell me that. Well, we ain't talking about your church. We're talking about the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. You talking about me. How many of my brothers and sisters went on my page and bought all my books, or hit me up in my inbox and said, Sheik, man, I want to get all your books and I'll give them to you for a discounted price to download on your tablet. Or you can go on my company, bindingbooks.com, and get them bounded like this. How many of us doing that? But damn near the whole GCU got my books. Damn near everybody at Clear University, where I got my undergrad, got my books. All my European professors and their members at their churches got my books. And so, but we make excuses for our family. Well, you know how our family are. That's a messed up thing to say. That's a messed up thing to say for us, to say, well, you know how our family are. That means we'll never have nothing. And that means we under a generational curse. That's sad. And we make Jeff Bezos rich. We'll go on Amazon and buy books and all that. And any book that you go on Amazon and look for, I have. And I convert it to PDF. And all my members know that. And I bind them and print them for less than what you would pay on Amazon. Because I showed y'all the price of books. Just like, no disrespect to no one. Just like one of my muftis just hit me up because I'm transparent. And he was like, hey, man, my friend gave a donation. And I said, well, if a person gives $25, no disrespect, how much information and how many books of literature should I give them? $25. And I convert these books that cost $5,000 and $6,000 and $2,000. If I give you one book for your donation of $25 and a tax and receipt, that's enough. But the people want and expect way more from me. They act like $25 is $2,500. Hell, the book costs $2,500. And then a person won't even buy it printed and bound for me for a fraction of the price. But when a person to give me pennies, they want me to give them a plethora of stuff. They want me to give them All the literature in the world for $25 and it don't be consistent. But they don't do that nowhere else. You go to the club and pay for valet, pay for them cheap ass watered down drinks, pay for the what we call well drinks, and you have a night you done spent $200 and $300. What are you getting in return? A hangover. And I don't mean no disrespect to no one. When I lecture on the college campus and I come home with $5,500, they say you not used to this, Sheik, and I say no. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to nobody. No, I'm not used to that when I'm dealing with my people. When I deal with my people, I have to put my own money up and I have to be okay just ministering and walking out the house out after I'm done speaking and maybe getting nothing or maybe getting enough money for gas. Why? Because that's how our people do. And then you will see all of them at night in the club acting like they rich broke, popping bottles that you can go to the store and get the damn half a gallon for $20. You don't went to the club and spent $250 for it. You done paid VIP to sit in the stanky ass section of a bar. Man, it cost us $250 to sit in this section. Really? To see the same people you see every day and then right next week do the same thing. But when I have lectures and teachings, it fall on deaf ears. When I come back to Flint, Michigan, my professors will be like, man, stop that, brother. And let's come teach at the colleges and our synagogues and our Masonic house. But I can't because I love my people so much. I can't just do that. Nobody can just put $1 in my face because I feel God have me, Allah have me, and I live under my means, and I got a good woman that support me. Just imagine, I told everybody, if I had 10 women that rock with me and that understand what I'm doing, I'd change this whole movement because I'm not focusing on men anymore. Men talk a lot of talk, but then they turn around because they want to replace you. They might say they love you, but they really don't trust you. Why? Because here it is, these men been with me all this time and they making more money, or a lot of them in the same financial bracket, and none of my people giving 10% of their income. None. All the work that we do. So that's why I tell my brothers and sisters, I'm almost done with a lot of stuff that I'm doing for free. I done so much charity for over 10 years, over 20 years. When people and my college professors and people in ministry say, y'all don't know what this man done. Y'all don't know all the books he written. Y'all don't know all the stuff he went through to fight to bring all this information, that scholarship, all the trial and tribulation I went through getting my master's degree from Grand Canyon University, how them professors act like they don't like my candor. And I had European professors, that's the head of the division, fight for me. And then my own people don't do it. I got professors that donate more to my organization than my own members, than my own family. I got way more college professors that done bought all my books. When they say, we know who you are, you ain't got to explain it to us. Why? Because we got your literature. And then here it is, college kids, they lecture my books on campus. I got Europeans. Well, can I be part of your temple in school? And Mom Moore? I said, yes, you knowledgeable by birth. Yes, you can be part of my school. What's the use of a doctor if no one's sick? What's the use of me being an educator if every Negro that just work with their hands think they know more than me? Like my dad said, he said, these Negroes think they know more than you, son. And they ain't did nothing but went to work. And a lot of them dropped out of school. A lot of them have third grade reading levels. A lot of them just mismanage their money. And you've been teaching this forever. My mom, my dad, and my wife is my biggest supporters. And my college professors and the college kids on campus, they are my biggest supporters. No disrespect to no one. And I'm not throwing no shade. My ministers just, I don't know. But when they go to church, you can't go to church without supporting your church, without giving 10% of your income. Why? Because the church and the damn trustees, they're going to come say, hey, man, what's up with you? A lot of churches, a lot of these mega churches, they're going to sit down with you. They're going to see your damn taxes, see what you making. They're going to see your check stub. Why? Because if you sit down in the church and you go through new members meetings, they're going to say, are you willing to support the church mentally, spiritually, physically, and economically? Yes. After you do go through your new members meeting, are you okay with giving 10% of your income? And then when you don't, they got the right to holler at you. Why? Because you the one signed it. And I don't even do that with my members. I don't. So I got a little bit more time. I'm gonna go over the esoteric science of the Fez. I just like to speak from the heart. And like I said, I'm not mad at anybody. I just know how far we have to go. And I see what happened with us as a people. I see it. And it do hurt my heart. When my professor's telling me I need to just go on and move out of the country and move to Europe and lecture at these colleges where they pay and college kids don't mind donating, where they raise money and they have student union, and then they all be in there sitting on the edge of their chair and they put their money together to get the books and the documents that I have because they know it's scholarship. One of my professors said, you just like J.A. Rogers. You just like all the scholars of the old. You just like John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Ivan Van Sertima, Francis Cross Wilson, Chancellor Wilson, all these educated brothers, Amos Wilson. They don't love you? And that's how I feel. But I'm not upset. I understand it. A prophet and an angel is no good in his own country. I understand that today totally. I understand it. So I'm going to give a little inserts of one of the books that I gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared. And it breaks down the meaning of what I have on my head, which is my Moorish Fez. The Fez originated from the city of Fez in ancient Morocco. The Fez is also known as the tarbouch. In Persian vernacular, it's the sarbouch for head cover, and chachia. The modern Fez is made of felt shape, roughly like a canister or tourniquet cone, tapering slightly towards the top, where the tassel is a tassel fixed to the middle of the top. This sort of fez is often worn by members of the Shriners fraternity in clandestine. Research what clandestine means. The difference is that the fez has 4 circles. You see my fez has 4 circles. I can go get my maroon one, but I don't have time. And I got the white one. It has circles. And then the Freemasons, theirs have pentagrams. And then you got to know why. And their tassel is pinned down because their wisdom don't flow 360 degrees. But the difference is that the Fez has 4 circles on top and is custom made with Shriner emblems. They adopt the Fez for themselves. We cannot go into the Shriner Fez organization because some of us are Shriners also. A lot of our members are Shriners. And when I start speaking about that, the first thing they do is they start running. But what we can tell you is that some of us are allowed to wear our Fez 24 hours, unmarked, tassel not pinned down, 360 days of a week. The reason is because we inherit the Fez from our Moorish forefathers who wore the Fez during the seat of power. We are Moors by birth and not an adopted right, not no Scottish right or no Prince Hall. The last thing we would like to say is that all Moors must remember that Muslims are born and not made. About 980 AD, the Hajj was interrupted and the pilgrimage of those living west of the Nile were directed to Fez as the holy city. A Moor in Fez supplied a new style of headdress that started to be widely used by the students of a particular school. The Moorish Fez became a mark of intelligence and came to be worn all along the northern shores of what today they call Africa. The Fez meant that you claimed your bloodline and that you were a high evolved noble. Don't have nothing to do with no man-made religion, but that's what misnomer black people do that don't study and don't research. That's what most of my black people do, misnomer. Oh, you a Muslim? You an Al-Islam Muslim? And my dad be laughing. He says, son, you know your people ain't reading. And I say, well, dad, my people are lost due to a lack of knowledge because we refuse to learn. My people are destroyed due to a lack of knowledge because we refuse to learn. That's Hosea 4:6. You want to know how to hide something from a Negro? What? Put it in the book. Why? Because the Negro is not going to read nothing. It's valid. All we do is make accusations. Oh man, he a Freemason or he an Illuminati. Man, that's the stupidest thing that could come out of misnomer stupid Negroes' mouths. This original form is still worn in Tunisia, Tripoli, Morocco. In 1826, Sultan Mahmud II of the Ottoman Empire was looking to break the tradition and update the official dress of the empire's civil service. They started modernizing you, making you look, no disrespect, Europeanish, stripping you from your culture, which Negroes want to say, oh, this is a cult. Yeah, culture, the etymology of culture is cult, but we don't know nothing. We let people accuse. He originally looked at a three-corner hat of the European descent, but his divine pointed out that the three corners represented the Holy Trinity. I say the unity. And he considered a shipment of fezzes had recently arrived from Tunisia. So they were selected instead. It was considered the special badge of a Turkish subject, and the original Turks is the Moors. And all, even if not a Muslim, we obliged to wear it. Women wore fezzes as well, but the women's were smaller and without tassels. But the white fez with the gold tassel represents you, my empresses. The European Masons, no disrespect, the ladies, which is the DAR, the Daughters of American Revolution, which is our misnomer black empresses under. They call themselves some Eastern Star. They under, no disrespect, the DAR. The DAR came up with the marriage license to where you think you got to go to the damn courts to get a marriage license, which is nothing but a contract. And you don't understand that your religious rights, that you have the right to do this in your religion. And you don't have to go to no damn courthouse to get no contract. The transition of the fez was resisted for some time, but by the end of the century, Turkey was swept up by Europeanization waves, and the fez became a love symbol of nationality. It's just facts. Fez formerly had a monopoly on the manufacture of the hat because it controlled the juice of the berry used to color them. And this information is known among many Masons, particularly the Albion Shriners. However, the discovery of the dyes in the 19th century allowed the manufacturer spread to France, Germany, and Austria. At the beginning of the 20th century, Austria was the main center of the fez industry. Like right now, a lot of people, when they think they can go get a fez cheaper and all that, and I say, well, go get a fez cheaper. It ain't going to be ordained, ain't going to be consecrated by a person that know what it's about. That's going to be able to give you degrees and tell you what the fez is about. I get all my fezzes, the maroon fez, the white fez, the black fez is handmade with all the proper perforations for symbology. And then I teach you it. Kemal Atatürk, the leader of the Young Turks, felt the fez was backwards and dressed only in Western nobility British because they were colonized. Suits and styles. On August 30th, 1925, he banned the fez in an attempt to push Turkey into modern world, to be Europeanized. This effort was resisted with some fury to the point that several riots broke out and fezzes were seized as illegal contraband. And by the 1930s, the fez was almost gone in Turkey when one last attempt was made to reintroduce it by a group who planned to overthrow a Turk. And I'll start showing you some other history because I got other books to show you this. This ended in deadly results with a total of some 9 people shot down in the streets of Turkey. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull this other document because I think I got it. Yep, I got it right here. I got it right here. Let me see. And I can show you some more history. Here go Deuce Muhammad Ali, before our prophet. Here go Deuce Muhammad Ali with the fez on. Educator from Egypt. Abdul Hamid Solomon, that was 96 degrees of the ancient rite of mystic shrine. History. But we don't have any culture. That's Deuce Muhammad Ali. Here go Elijah Poole Bey with the fez on. Look at Muhammad Ali with the fez on. And then I can start showing you all the European politicians, J. Edgar Hoover with Islam and all that stuff on the fez. Deuce Muhammad Ali was an influential Pan-Africanist, a supporter of Islam, and traveled widely throughout the African diaspora. He founded the African Times and the Orient Review in 1911. Research it. Research it. When I start showing you monuments, you see, these are fezzes on these ancient people's heads. These are fezzes. But we're not historical. We argumentative. Here go commit symbol for bin bin. You see that? That's the bonnet, aka the kufi. You see that on top of their heads? But I want to read something, then I'll proceed. All through history, it's all different types of tarbushes, feds, toppies. But we don't have any culture because we've been Europeanized. No disrespect to no one. One is a Maori statue. The other is a Seminole chief, Billy Bowlegs. Remember Billy Bowlegs? And the Negro is the Indian, aka the Blackamoor. There go Billy Bowlegs right there. There we go, right there. There we go, right there. And I had the pleasure to lecture all this stuff in college. An ancient Cambodian head with the Fez type head covering, which had recently been reunited with his body, according to Archaeology, a publication of Archaeology Institute of America, right there. When the pseudo academia tell you about some Anunnaki, that Zachariah Stitchin's pseudo academia, and the Anunnaki is the Iberian. So when you seeing these brothers right here, with all these fezzes on, with the turban, the same way when I show you at the convention what Noble Drew Ali had, you see all them brothers with the fezzes on. When I tell you the fez is historical, let me read this and I'll continue. The fez cap, though a Turkish headgear, was at the time considered to be a symbol of Muslim identity, as it's suggested by the so-called Fez controversy of 1905 and 06, when the noted Moor leader and advocate M.C. Abdul Qadar was prohibited from entering court with the Fez, pursuant to a notice published in the local newspaper by the Fez Committee. A largely attended representative mass meeting of the Muslims of Ceylon was held on Sunday, the 31st of December, 1905 at 4 p.m. in the open air at the Maradona Mosque grounds, Colombia, to protest against the action of the Supreme Court of the island, which prohibited Mr. Abdul Qadar from appearing in court with his usual Mohammedan headdress, the fez. After demonstration in Colombo and in other parts of the island, the Supreme Court permitted the wearing of the fez in court. And here go groups of Ceylon Moors at the Michigan Library. At the Michigan Library, 1190. Notice that they are wearing a mixture of suret toppies and turco toppies. Look, and turbans. And turbans. Look with your own eyes. Right here, with your own eyes. So I just wanted to share that as I'm lecturing. I'll get back to the teaching. The Fez has always been a high distinction in history. The Fez was represented only by chiefs and captains who wore the Fez. The black Fez was worn by the muftis, and all my muftis, I ordained them and initiated them. And they still not operating. When they talk about they stand on their square, how? And we not obliging to the degrees that I've been giving you. Because to get this wisdom, especially if you was going to academia, you would be hundreds of $1,000s in debt. And most God men is not going to give you all the degrees. They're going to make it secret, talking about they taking you through some adapt chamber. And it's nothing secret with me. You will see us in the streets, in the courts, on the trains, certain jobs. We can give thanks to our prophet Noble Drew Ali, even CM Bay. Therefore, my Moorish American brothers and sisters, do not hesitate to purchase and wear your fez, directly handmade by a Moorish empresses, by myself. You can get your Moorish Fez purchased from me. And all my muftis, before they met me, I bet you they ain't never had no Fez. My mufti Malik Reed El is on my Instagram page. My muftis are on my YouTube page. They ain't never knew nothing about no Fez or even having the courage to wear a Fez until they became into the auspices and learned. They all have to be honest and say that they were afraid to wear the fez. How? Because how people looked at them. They were afraid to wear their turban. How? Because family and friends looked at them. And now all my brothers wear the turban, the fez, and their bonnet with pride and with honor. Why? Because you've been initiated through the wisdom. And we don't give homage to our own brothers and sisters that resurrected us. When I asked my brothers and sisters, what's an angel? What's a prophet? A man and a woman that's clothed in the flesh, that's here to give you a divine message and a warning. If you are more, it's in your one-on-ones. I have all fezzes for our brothers and sisters and children. I done put babies with turbans and fezzes on. I went back to Flint, Michigan. I put a text stream and I told my muftis, man, I got a young man that want a fez. I wanted to ask my members to help me put some donations so I can buy the fez from the young brother so I can pay the $200. I went in my own pocket and bought the fez for the young man and put it on his head. And all my members can get a tax-exempt donation receipt for assistant. Put that young man a fez on, put a fez on his dad, put a fez on his little cousins. And now they go to school in Flint, Michigan with a fez. Now I'm showing them how to tie their turban with pride. Elementary kids looking like this going to school. Looking like this going to school. And then I'm putting the turban on their heads. And then they graduating with honors. When Misnomer Black History come, they're illuminating them teachers. Them teachers like, well, who do you study privately with? My mufti said, nope, I didn't have a fez. I got my fez from you, Sheikh. That has been our map and guide to knowledge of self, I self, law, and master. Gratitude to you, Malik. Pertaining to a degree, which is the hex alpha. The hex alpha, when you graduate, you know your graduation cap is the hex alpha. The fez and the graduation cap both have 360 degrees of wisdom. If you know how to use your compass and square, they just have different parameter or different shape. The square and the circle are both 360 degree of wisdom. If you know how to use your contractor, if you know how to use your tools. The hex alpha, the dual trion, is the geometric representation of the Moabite, the Moorish Fez. The Moabite, the Moorish woman, has given a crown of knowledge to her sons within the span of 9 months in the most illuminated school of the universe, which is your womb, my empresses. The Fez symbolizes your womb, aka supreme mathematics, aka African Mayat magic, 9 to the 9th power of 9. That's why I say the woman, you, all y'all empresses are Mayat, the garden that produced food and life. I said, if I just get 10 women that's rocking with me, we'll change this whole movement. If I got 10 women that's not afraid to be who they are, to be who your foremothers and your forefathers told you to be, and instead of being afraid, telling you got to be some man-made religion, and we are all the religions, I change this movement because I ain't worried about Negroes no more. I'm not. We just want to smile and shuck and jive and show our teeth like a Cheshire cat. We ain't going to put no money behind nothing. Look, our Empress has been putting money behind things forever. Look, when you get your income taxes, Empress has been dealing with goofy Negroes all their life, talking about, baby, let me get your tax return dollars for I can flip it. And the Negro ain't flipped a damn thing, but some cocaine up his nose or some tennis shoes. I ain't disrespecting nobody. Y'all Empresses know what I'm saying. Empress is the one that'll say, you know what, I want to do something, and they'll use their money and try to get businesses and do all that. Empresses will do that. I don't see half of Negroes doing that. If I had 10 of y'all that's rocking with me, we can change this world. I'm telling y'all that understand what I'm doing, that we can sit and meet. I can come to y'all area. We can rent a small space and we can sit down and build and watch these Negroes be in the club popping dollars. Popping tags and buying these cheap, expensive bottles of liquor and all this fake ass designer clothes while we buying things and buying property and moving back in our communities, making y'all homeowners, having our own schools, having our own libraries, our own daycares, putting y'all in position to be leaders, having our own people running for local and state and federal positions so we can be accountable. We don't have no dog in no fight. The fez is the ancient and modern national headdress of the Moabites, the Moors. The fez is a brimless headdress, most commonly produced in scarlet red with an ebony black tassel. The red fez or the maroon fez is matched by the red or the maroon field displayed in the Moorish national standard flag. The fez is also produced in black, white, and other color variations, indicating other meanings, other social orders and positions, etc., and so on. The black fez is the highest degree. And here it is, I done ordained all my ministers with black fezes. All y'all wear black fezes. Y'all can sit down right now to any lower level 32 and 33 degree snowman mason, any brother from the Middle East, and give them a clear education on your fez and your turban. You didn't know this beforehand. That's why I said I'm almost done dealing with porous science, because people don't support. My own people don't support. And like I said, I'm okay with it. I always knew that people that don't look like you is going to support you. I always knew that people that understand your mission, and if you a righteous man, if you a God man, you're going to have way more people that rock with you than the people that know you. I understand that clearly. That's why I'm in Arizona, which is a red state. And I walk around just like this. I wear my native attire just like this. All my muftis that have been in Arizona, when we had our meet and greets, you see how people accept me. You see how people respect me. You see how Europeans respect me. When we was at that big resort, you saw how all those Europeans and teachers, what did they do? They came and gravitated to all y'all. They wanted to hear us. They wanted to hear us speak. They wanted to know a little bit more about our fez and our turban. They weren't accepting us or treating us like no sovereign citizen Negroes or no Freemasons or no black radical group. They were smiling. Hell, the one European, his wife had to tell him to come on, husband. He was like, no, I'm sitting here talking to my new friends. And here it is. These people are my colleagues. That's the part that hurt my heart. When I see these Europeans and they say, well, I know your people love you. I know they're supporting you with their finances, with their giving. And I say, do you want me to lie or do you want the truth? I have these fezes for us. The fez worn by you with your tassel in North America, our constitutional lawgiver never advocated that. Therefore, it's awaiting for you. And these is facts. Moors did not know that the graduation cap and the fez represents 360 degrees of knowledge. And the tassel represents the Sophia. In your biblical scripture, they always associate knowledge and wisdom to the female aspect, Sophia. The wisdom that flows freely. The wisdom that flows freely and not pinned down. And when earning any form of education pertaining to a degree, the hex alpha, the dual triene is the geometric representation of the Moabite, the Moorish Fez. The Moabite, the Moorish woman, has given a crown of knowledge to her sons within the span of 9 months in the most illuminated school of the universe, her womb. I just have to say that again. The fez in an ancient national headdress, mostly commonly produced in those colors. It means something. It means your position. It means your social status. So when I talk about this black fez right here, this black fez, which is the highest degree, which all my muftis have, all y'all have the highest degree. Your tassel is not as long as mine because these are degrees. These are degrees. You have to be supporting all the way. And then there's way more knowledge that I have to give. I'm still giving you a schoolmaster. I'm still giving more prerequisites. Why? Because we're not operating on full cylinders yet. We're not. How? Because we're giving our finances away willingly still today. It's worn by the muftis, the Moorish United Fronts towards Islam. And when I say Islam, I'm not talking about al-Islam. The enforcers and the security. The one who wears it symbolizes that he or she knows law in full and is able to defend it, including knowledge of martial arts, defense, physically and spiritually, which all of y'all are capable. Y'all see us work out. The next level is me to teach y'all Wing Chun and sticky hands, but I'm building your mind up mentally, spiritually, physically. Then when I start teaching you Wing Chun, sticky hands, and teaching you boxing, which y'all see that I do, and y'all know who I am, linking to the martial arts degrees of a black belt, meaning you ready to learn. The fez is worn as a symbol of the womb, and the top of it has a nipple. My nipple is pushed in a little bit because I push it in a lot. But this is the nipple shape that symbolizes the navel, and the strands of the tassel are 360, as in 360 degrees of knowledge. The tassel is not pinned down. It spins freely. And it's not in the secret societies. The free-flowing tassel is indicative of one who is born of the womb, endowed with and aspiring to be beyond 360 degrees of knowledge. We navigate upon the earth, and your potential is not limited, not pinned down or kept secret. However, it's sacred. And the 4 sets of holes in your fez for proper perforations, the 4 sets of the air holes are equal to the number of the womb. 9, and add to 13 the number of times a woman cycles per year, which is in tune with the cycle of the moon. When I started breaking down the astrological signs, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and I started breaking down the astrological signs and showing you the signs and showing you if you're dealing with someone, you need to know their astrological sign. And then you know why they act a certain way or why they may not act a certain way and why you should be able to introduce something to them. But we don't. The Fez, the national headdress of the Asiatic Moorish nation of North, South, Central, Al Morocco, which is America, including the adjoining islands. The Fez is typically red and indigo black. The Fez is the headdress of the ancient ones, the Moabites, the Moors, also spelled M-U-U-R. It's geometrically formed to represent the eternal zodiac, the body, and the Fez symbolizes the womb of the cosmos and the womb of the woman, the mother, the 1-inch finale right in the middle, which is 1 inch. I just got it pushed in. It's 1 inch. And the 9th letter receiving a degree. The Fez, the hex alpha, the dual triene is the geometric representation of the Moabite, the Moorish Fez. The Moabite, the Moorish woman, has given a crown of knowledge to her sons within the span of 9 months in the most illuminated school of the universe, which is your womb, my empresses. The Fez symbolizes your womb. The phonetic Moorish alphabet, the I, the I, the I, the I, the I. It symbolizes universal, the navel, the I, the cord, this cord, this cord, extending from the I, extending from the I. It symbolizes the universal umbilical cord of the universal life and represents the oneness of all life. It also represents the tie to the source of humanity, the Zodiacus, the first woman. When a lot of Moors, they first started off talking about the Zodiacus, then they started off talking about they can nationalize you or denationalize you with all that crap. And you had all those people when COVID came out on the internet talking about take my class. And then all they did was, I call them paper terrorists. But the Zodiacus is the first woman. The circular round ball, this circular round ball right here of the tassel represents the mundane circle or the earth. And the cords about the tassel is wrapped around here because this cord is wrapped around the tassel. These strands hold the form of the circle or rid, and it represents the unity of life through the zodiac constitution of humanity. It also represents the cycle and the reciprocal nature of life. And the strands of the tassel represents the 360 degrees of the zodiac, the highest law or writ authority in civilization, and the zodiac, the crown of light, the national headdress of the mothers and fathers of the human family, founders of the civilization, and masters of the cosmos, the science, the 33rd and 360 degree master Masons and eastern stars or the stars of the east. That's why I tell my brothers and sisters, you're going to see the European Mason wear this in clandestine. You know? And so all I'm doing, like my Mufti is on my YouTube page, I'm just giving a demonstration right now. I have systematic class every Saturday. I have a DAP class and history class, and every Sunday I have Sunday school. And I ask all my people to join and give small donations to support this and get the wisdom, because we're giving our money away freely to Uncle Sam. This is a part of the hidden truth, which has been buried in the dark corners of the North Gate. The Fez symbolizes of the eternal zodiac, is also called a tarbouche, a tiara, a corona soul, and other names, which describe its royal status. The wearing of the Fez, regarding Masons of clandestine orders. You good in there, Empress? But the Fez regarding Masons of clandestine orders, no matter what color you are. The Fez is also the name of the old Moorish capital and the city, which is located in northeast Morocco. Morocco, Moroccan, and Moors are one and the same pedigree and people. American is a dialectical corruption of the name Al Moroccan, which means descendant or descendants of Moroccan. the lack of consciousness of law and history on the part of any so-called Negro, black or colored, or so-called black Mason concerning the ancient history of the Americas has stagnated or retarded the ability to see through the veil of their own hoodwinking. Of their own hoodwinking. The city of Fez is in Morocco, not Europe. The Fez is the national headdress of Asiatic Moors. No disrespect, not Europeans or Albions or Trader Dykes. No disrespect. That's why if I wasn't who I am, no way would I would have graduated with a dual master's degree from Grand Canyon University in first century history and religion, to be a minister of a Christian teachings, to be a minister over Islamic studies, to be a minister over history. Not no misnomer black history, which is slave history, but first century history, the medieval times, the dark ages, to speak on Europe, to show you what's in Europe. When I talk about swarty Pete, when I talk about brunette, mean copper color, when I talk about swarty piet, and all these historical things. And when I take you to the Netherlands and you see the Corsica flag, all you got to do is pull up the Corsica flag, and what will you see? And then when I start talking to my Europeans in the Netherlands, they say, well, we know this. Like, they don't teach all this in the States? No. The Fez is the national headdress of the Asiatic Moors. Only Freemasons wear the Fez by ritual, contrary to the natural dress and the culture of the Moors. Moors, we are honoring our ancient foremothers and forefathers when we wear our Fez. So who is denying the connection to Ruth the Moabitess, which is in your Bible? And who is not, by way of recognizing or not recognizing the origins of the great philosophers and wisdom found in the halls of learning called Masonry? I had one of my European students that I tutor at GCU. He pulled up, they don't teach us nothing. That's why I'm here. Gratitude to you. Just like I had one of my European students, he said, Sheik, it's a lady on Instagram, a European lady, talking about Haram Abif, the stuff that you talked about, and show who are the true Masons. And in the Bible, the story of Haram Abif and who killed Haram Abif and had a jubilee, Jubleel, Jublum, and Jublim, and Haram Abif from Tyre in the biblical scripture that had the power that built Solomon's temple. Masonry is a system of disciplined learning. Moorish is a pedigree and nationality of direct descendant of the founders of civilization and ancient high science, culture, Gnosticism, cosmology, alchemy, geometry, algebra, numerology, astrology, architecture, mathematics, and philosophies. Like I told people, like I shared earlier, I got dual master's degrees in this. I'm getting ready to have my jura doctorate degree in Indigenous People Law and Policy. I'm not no one just on the internet talking. I went in debt for what I believe in. And now I come back and I teach for free on here, which I'm almost done doing, because none of my people want to support. And we'll go on these podcasts. Like one of my people said, do you know somebody named Charleston White? I said, I don't watch stupid stuff on the internet. I don't watch that. And one of my friends said, he's on there, he done became famous and making all much money. And he say he playing a game with misnomer black people. She was like, he just say anything. And she was like, that's what Negroes like. And I'm not compromising that for no dollar. I'm not going to act niggerly and just say a whole bunch of stupid stuff because I know Instagram will pay me if I just fly off at the mouth and say dumb stuff. I put my trust in my people to give donation to our school. And I show you that your money that you give to Uncle Sam for taxes sit in the private banking system and it don't go to the run of the United States of America. I show you when you deal with your religious and charitable contribution of your choice, you can file exempt forever. And then I teach you the tax codes and you get a tax exempt receipt from me to give to your tax preparer. And then I teach you about the percent of the taxes that you got to donate to offset your taxes to Uncle Sam. I'm here to educate you, not to just talk to you about crazy stuff. That's not my mission, but it fall on deaf ears to my brothers and sisters. It really does. That's why I said I'm almost done with this on Instagram, because it's doing nothing for me. Thus, Masonry is the highest culture, the esoteric and the Gnostic system of learning Moorish history, science, and culture, literally and factually, which was forced underground and veiled in allegorical stories, in mysticism, signs, and symbols. The word clandestine is an adjective meaning secret, concealed, sly, underhanded, superstitious, accompanied by improper means or by stealth, as a clandestine plan or act, seeking a benefit with fair, just, or proper compensation, participation, or input. Synonymous of the word clandestine include furtive, covert. Clandestine is derived from the old Moabite Moorish Latin word clandestinus. Many have been mistaken to think that the European, the Albion, the Tralodite, no disrespect, who wear the fez in secret, and the misnomer Negroes that wear the fez that call themselves some Freemason. But just because you put free in front of that, a Negro, black and colored, gonna always be a slave. Why? Because the Dred Scott Law was never abolished. Blacks have no rights that nobody have to abide to. If you understand what the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment consists of, if you understand what manumissions consist of, if you understand what the Reconstruction laws consist of, if you understand what the Declaration of Human Rights Article 15 consists of, if you understand what House Joint Resolution is, if you understand what the SF 180 form, the SF 181 form consists of, which most of us are not educated in history and civics and constitutional law, we're not, because you're not going to learn that in school unless you have a good teacher. But they wear the fez in secret, and they think they're the originals of the fez. They are aware of the meaning and purpose of the fez. When you pull up all politicians, all ex-presidents, when you pull up pictures of J. Edgar Hoover with the fez on, and it say Morocco and all that, they know who it is. And a European Mason would never call himself or herself some damn widow's son. They're going to clearly tell you that they are son of a Muslim. That's why when I lecture in my European homie, they are Scottish Rite Masons out here, and I lecture in the house, in their Masonic house, I don't have a problem with them. Why? Because I said, one, my European colleagues are not the joke of Masonry. I said the misnomer black man is the joke of Masonry. Why? Because he a lie. He won't even tell his people about Masonry, and then he won't even teach his sons about it if it's so good. And then the Negro Mason will sit up there and say that he or she is some widow's son. And I say, explain that to me. How can you be a widow's son? They can't even explain it. And the fez, as it is a crown worn by those of the Moorish nation, which represents the matriarch. And the Europeans, no disrespect, have usurped and stolen the crown and the birthrights, as well as they have utilized the science and high culture, embodied and represented in wearing the fez, which they wear in secrecy, which is the science of the universe, the workings of nature and natural order. Yep, I got a little bit more because I'm gonna get out of here. I've been on, it's almost 2 hours. I got a couple more pages and I'll finish. And all this is one of my books that I gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared. I gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared almost 20 books. This is one of the reasons why I profit and why I tell my people that people live off your virtues. This is why. This is why. It describes people that's vampires, and they don't have nothing to do with Europeans, because your own people are bloodsuckers. When they come with you with that Negro black stuff, and I ask them, is black an adjective or is it a noun? It's an adjective. Okay then. Negrito mean black. In Spanish, that's why they call them negrito beans. Our own people is doing this. Our own people is doing this. Our miseducation, like Carter G. Woodson said, the miseducation of the Negro, it boils down to our preachers and our teachers and our politicians. I don't put this power in nobody's hand that don't look like me. A person that don't look like me can do nothing to me. I see you coming. It's only our people that dress up and fancy and put all those letters in front of their name and be all these fraternities. And I tell you that the Greek is a fraud. We read the book George G.M. James, A Stolen Legacy, and then come back and have a conversation with me. Our miseducation has led us to misgivings and to a dark and ignorant place of not knowing. Thus we suffer from a lack of knowledge, which Hosea 4:6 clearly states. My people are destroyed due to a lack of knowledge. A lack of knowledge of what? Yourself. And you will be no priest of me. A lack of knowledge. And then we argue against each other as to the origins of many historical topics, including the fez. But if you're doing peer-reviewed scholarly research that I've done, that I'm able to do dissertations in front of professors, that I have to be matter-factual, everything that I speak on is peer-reviewed scholarly research. No one ever argued with me in an academia setting. I never had that. I only get that from Negroes. That's all, and I don't mean no disrespect, but I only get disrespect from misnomer black people. That's it. Many think the fez belong to the Turks, without knowing that the original Turks are the Moors of the Ottoman Empire, and the Ottoman Empire being active into the world. One of the most prolific wars in the world was the War of Ferdinand and Isabella. But we never researched that. Research the War of Ferdinand and Isabella. The books sit in the library collecting dust. It's a red book. As soon as you open the book, you'll be like, God dang, I didn't know this was right here. And then I'll show you the stuff in the military. The words from Tripoli to it's talking about the war against the Moors. And we don't even know it. When I can show you in Thomas Jefferson Quran, all this stuff that I'm talking about is real American history. When I can show you that they dress up just like you, which coincides with the 40s, where COINTELPRO charged Moors of the Moorish Science Temple, claiming they were in cahoots with Japan against the United States. Others think that the Fez was originated and belongs to, no disrespect, pale Arabs. But get a book by an author named Bertrand Thomas. It's a European, and the book is called The Arabs. And the European scholar will tell you exactly who the Arab is. Arab is spelled A-R-A-P, not A-R-A-B. These is facts, and facts are stubborn. But I bet you no one can deny what I'm saying. Research a book, and I got all his books. It's by a European professor named Bertrand Thomas, and he stayed with the original Arab. And then you can get Vladimir Dale's, 1868 dictionary, when it asks you and it tells you what a true Arab is, A-R-A-P. These is facts, without knowing that the original Arabs are the Moors, and that the pale Arabs of today, no disrespect, without knowing that original Arabs are Moors, and that some sold each other into slavery even while wearing the fez, as they do and attempt today. And this is done. The reason our prophet said, be careful, Moors. Some of your own people will put you back in slavery. When you research the Federal Depository of the New York State, I'm giving y'all history. Please listen to what I'm saying and research what I'm saying. Research the Federal Depository of New York State in Handbook of North American Indians, page 290, U.S. Government Printing Office, Washington, D.C., 20402, stock number 047-000-00351-2, copywritten in 1979 by the Smithsonian Library of Congress, catalog in public data. And when you research that, you come back to me and we can have a conversation. And we can have a conversation when you be like, man, this is facts. European men who wear the fez behind closed doors, aka clandestine, in secret societies, and even the Negroes wear it in clandestine and secret societies, where they perform rituals, where they take oaths, and the misnomer black man take oath to not to tell you the truth. Not to tell you the truth. To demigods, and work hard to keep the light of the true regarding the North Gate, North America, Northwest Amexima, and Northwest Africa. And I had the pleasure, because I studied in the Royal Libraries. Yep, absolutely. I'll read it again for you, Empress. The research, the Federal Depository of New York State in Handbook of North American Indians, page 209, in the U.S. Government Printing Office, Washington, D.C., 20402, stock number. The stock number is just like an ISBN number, when you can, if you don't know the name of the book, and say if I give you the ISBN number of a book, and you can type the number in, and it'll tell you the name of the book, where you can find it at, etc. So the stock number is 041-000-00351-2, copywritten 1979 by the Smithsonian Library of Congress, catalog in public data. This is free information. And then your Negro Masons, they take oaths. They take rituals and oaths to demigods. But a true God, man, I don't take oath. In the Bible, the scriptures will tell you that brotherhood, which I have, a brotherhood, is like sweet oil going down to your head and to your beard and to the shirt. All you got to do is Google what does the Holy Spirit say about brotherhood? What does Yahshua feel about brotherhood? And you will get all the scriptures. We're supposed to have brotherhood. It's in your Bible. We're supposed to be initiated, not take no oath. and work hard to keep the light of the truth regarding the North Gate of who we are. And they taught through Masonic orders. They taught through Masonic orders, the Ma and the Sun, the science of the universe, the sacred lessons of life and nature, in an effect to civilize them and bring them into cultural society. No disrespect, the European, the Albion, the Troglodyte, whatever you want to call it, later created clandestine and the Negroes. They created clandestine orders to keep the teachings amongst them. European, Albion Freemasons, Negro Freemasons that call themselves some goofy mystic Prince Hall, not only wear the fez in secret, clandestine, they are wearing the fez written atop them. You will see Islam, you will see Bay, you will see Muslim, you will see Morocco, to show they are in fact aware of Morocco, the empire, and the subordinate kingdom, because they know it, and they are aware, and they practice Islam, and know the true meaning of Muslim. They know this. And they are aware of the 5 noble titles of El, Bey, Day, Al, and Ali. And these titles were transferred and renamed as the 5 civilized tribes of acceptance during the so-called Indian agreements. But however, many are aware now that this is not India. The people were and are indigenous to the lands, or natives of the free land, indigenes. I'm almost done. And regarding the White Fez of the American Revolution, acronym DAR, the Daughters of American Revolution, and other Eastern Stars, when our misnomer black women, they be under the Eastern Stars. And I say, but you still, no disrespect, let somebody that don't look like you tell you who you are. And we still, when a man want to go into a union with a wife, the man and the woman, especially the men, they say they Moors, they'll still get pressure from that lady, from your wife, and from your wife's family, talk about you got to go get a marriage license. And I say, that's nothing but a contract. You don't need that. The Daughters of American Revolution came with that. Why? Because the sons do the biddings of the mother. And we don't even know that. These is facts. All you got to do is ask them, research the DAR, the Daughters of American Revolution, and then see that they got a white fez with a gold tassel on it. And then see what's on top of their fez. They are replacing you, just like the European Masons are replacing the ancient Moors when they wear the fez with all your history on it in clandestine. And then the Negro repeat that stupid stuff. No disrespect. Research what I'm saying. I already established that the fez represents the womb, and the 4 sets of the breather holes on our fez, the 4 sets of the holes count up to or spell out numerology, the sacred number. The sacred number of 9 plus 4 equals 13, which is the cycle of the moon and the cycle of my empresses in harmony with the moon. That's your cycle, and you know that. The white fez represents the moon, and the gold tassel on the white fez, the gold tassel is the sun, and the 360 degrees of knowledge aspired to upon the earth plane, and the ball of mud, or this mundane ball. Thus, the white fez represents purity, symbolic of the womb, symbolic of your womb, my empresses, and the Moabite nation flag. The matriarch is the white with a gold crescent and star. Research what I'm saying. And the crescent represents the mother and child, the mother cradling a child, and more specifically, the mother and the son, as she can easily what? Duplicate herself. But to transform a female egg into a male specimen is the miracle that she has created. The what? The miracle son, the prodigal son, from where? Her womb. And when pondering upon the Daughters of the American Revolution, the acronym DAR, we find that they began charters as far back as 1890 here in the North Gate, Northwest and Maxima and Northwest Africa, the heart of the temples of the sun and the moon. And the Moorish nation flag is the flag of her sons. It's the red with the 5-pointed green star, Venus, the mother, in the center. And when she became unconscious, the flag of her sons was flown, and it represents the great bloodshed ensued upon the land, and many divisions and tongues, false prophets, and mass destructions alike. And the bloodshed was not only the death of the human form of many, but it represented the flow of shedding of the blood that makes up many nations. The scepter, if you will, was passed to her sons while she lay unconscious. It is not to the sons' fault, as it was she who caused the great destruction. And it would be her, who, my empresses, the ones that call yourself the Eastern Stars, but you are the star of the East. It's on y'all to repair it. It's your awakening, my empresses. I'm not worried about these Negroes. A Negro will kill you in a drop of a heartbeat. I'm not worried about that. It's y'all empresses. You are the great wrath of Allah per se. Venus, the mother, in the center, when she becomes unconscious, the flag of her sons was flown, and it represents the great bloodshed ensued upon the land, and many divisions and tongues, false prophets, mass destruction, and the likes. And this bloodshed was not only in death of human form of many, but it represented the flow of shedding of blood that make up the nations, y'all. And so what were the daughters of American Revolution revolting against? Their establishment was based on promotion of historic preservation, education, and patriotism. That's correct. And there you have it. They are directly against the matriarch, which is the Republican form of government in America. A republic is based in matriarchal principles, not patriarchal. Their revolution certainly was not inclusive of the Moorish, Moabite, Asiatic, African woman, as she still thinks there is a revolution to come, and rightfully so, as it is her revolution that must occur in order for humanity to live in harmony. It got to do with all our women. Just like the movie Chirac that Nick Cannon did, and the ladies, and all the ladies like, close y'all legs. Why? Because these brothers killing themselves over a stupid rag, over religion or a Democratic Party. Our empresses must wake up and recognize that she is the mother and daughters of the American Revolution, and that you are revolting against her sons, of which you are the daughters. We're in the concubines for. The Moabite, the Moorish, the Asiatic, the African woman must recognize and begin using and teaching your daughters and your sons to use the science of the number 9, the science of the womb, to invoke the powers and purpose of her womb to bring in the children of great. As the occurrence can only happen as it relates to her and her womb. Anything other than that will bring into something that is not connected to her or her cause, and certainly not in a positive manner. That's why I said, give me 10 empresses. Give me 10 empresses. I'll change this whole movement, because I see what men do. I see what all these sovereign citizens or these so-called fake consulate general of Morocco or all these people that brag that they dropped out of school in the 3rd grade. I'm not having no pissing contest with no Negro that put a Fez on it and they think they some educator or some lawgiver. I'm working with the women. Give me 10 women that really want to do a movement, and I'll come to your areas and I'll show us how we build and how we use our finances, and I'll show you how we tax exempt, and I'll show you that you can decipher your money that you get at Uncle Sam willingly to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice, and I'll give you a tax exempt receipt, and that'll offset the taxes that you give to Uncle Sam, and you can file exempt forever. Facts. And the development of a fetus, which is a Muslim, in the 7 stages of development upon the waters of your womb, is then cut from the navel or the navel and becomes a navigating L upon the 7 waters of the continent. And the daughters of American Revolution was real. They knew this. So I want to stop right now, man, because I've been going for 2 hours. I got so much more to give, but I don't want to just give too much at one time, because a lot of people only can retain a little bit at a time. And a lot of this is one of the books that I gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared. And the only way that we're going to have a movement, we got to put money behind it instead of giving our money willingly to Uncle Sam. And don't be afraid to give donations to our temple and school, which is Cash App, $KG When you give donations, I'll give you literature. I ask for a suggested donation. Why? Because I have a full library. It don't matter how much you give. It don't matter. I don't care if you gave $50 or $5. I'm going to give you the wisdom. All my people, that's my part of my ministry, they know that. I have a full library. I went in debt for everything that I learned. I went in debt to get my bachelor's degree, my master's degree. I'm going in debt right now to get my dual doctorate degree in Indigenous People Law and Policy. I'm in debt hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to come back and teach my people this. But I created my own businesses. I created mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z. I created bindedbooks.com. I created moorishhaberdasher.com, where people can support me by buying my items, by buying my books, by buying fezes, by buying regalia, by buying clothes. I created my nonprofit organization that's tax exempt for the federal government. So when you give donations to our temple and school, I can give you a tax exempt receipt that you can take to your tax preparer at the end of the year. to offset your taxes instead of just willingly letting Uncle Sam take money out your check. I can teach you tax codes. I can teach you why we can file exempt forever because I'm a private banking system. All this stuff that I've educated on. And I'm not here begging no one to pay nothing to me. I'm saying that a workman is due his hire and I have something to give back to my people. And that's the only way we're going to have something because I'm not getting no faith-based initiative. I'm not here promulgating no federal program or no religious dogma to get a check from Uncle Sam, which a lot of your churches have done. They got the check. They got that check. That mandate from the United States government is called the faith-based initiative. That's why most preachers go to seminary because they study Christendom. They're not educated. They're not going to have a simple conversation with me about education and history and linguistics and biblical history because they're going to research me off the top. But my European colleagues will. That's why I'm not here to argue with no one. But my people are lost due to a lack of knowledge because we refuse to learn. And so I'm just here to spread love and spread wisdom. Like I said, if you like what I'm saying, if you want me to continue this, all I ask my people is give small donations to our temple and school and support us consistently, not sporadically. Subscribe to our Temple and School YouTube and Facebook page. My Temple and School YouTube and Facebook page is Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. Go on my YouTube page, our Temple and School YouTube page on Facebook and on YouTube and see what I've been talking about for all these years. See what I've been talking about for all these years. Over 10 years I've been speaking this. Then y'all can see me at my job when I ran my physical suit store, where a lot of people met me, when I used to have my clients come in, when I stayed in Tucson, Arizona, when I speak like this. You can see me lecturing at other places in a doctoral library on my personal YouTube page. And we created our Temple and School YouTube page where I have systematic teachings. So once again, man, I'm not asking nobody to just pay me. I'm asking people to support something, like you would support your church and you would support other organizations, and I give you a tax and receipt. I'm telling us to stop being selfish with our funds and wasting our money. I'm telling us to be serious about some things. So once again, man, I love y'all and I give y'all gratitude. If anybody want this book that I gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared, all you have to do is give a donation. Send me an email to my email, which is Goodman, GOODMANKHARY @gmail.com. And I'll send you 2 PDF copies of my book. I hope you would give at least $10 or $20 because I'll email you 2 copies of my books. And then any book that you want, as you give in donations and coming to Sunday school and adapt class and tuning in when I lecture, any donation that you will give, the books and stuff that I lecture on, I'll willingly give it to you for you can download it on your tablet, or my company will print and bind it for you for a certain cost. Or you can go to Office Max and Staples and have them print it and bind it. And if you deal with me for a calendar year, I guarantee you can look at your library and look at the wisdom that you will learn, peer review, and you will be amazed. Even if your kid going to school for history, science, and civics, I bet you they will be resurrected. I guarantee you. So with that being said, man, I love y'all. I love everyone. I'm not here to argue with no one. I'm not here to arbitrarily explain nothing with anyone. I'm not here to do that. I'm a map and a guide. I'm here to give you something that you can research. And I'm here to tell us that we are a people, that we are not Negro, Black, and colored, or African American. I'm here to tell you that the Creator didn't create any slaves. The Creator didn't create any slaves. I'm here to give you language. I'm here to give you history. And then I'm here to ask you to research everything I'm saying and see if anything I'm saying is valid. Not to operate on how you feel, which a lot of us do, which is wrong when you operate on feeling. You don't have to like me, but prove anything that I'm saying is wrong and research what I'm saying. And I bet you come back to me with like, brother, everything you're saying is valid, especially when I talk about history and spirituality and who we are. Because I'm not an Al-Islam Muslim. I don't have no dog in this fight in no religious perspective. I'm a Moor, I'm a Sheik, and I understand all the religions. I'm under the triple rose, the Fatimid, the Paraclete, and the Jerusalem, and the Christian rite. I have a clear understanding of it. And I must have a clear understanding if I'm a teacher. So once again, man, I love y'all and thank y'all for your time. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. We're going to have our book reading. and it's going to be on our YouTube, Facebook page, and on our YouTube. What is our YouTube, Facebook, and our YouTube page, Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. And I don't know which Mufti is going to do our book club. It may be my Mufti Gregory Maso El, and it be pre-recorded. And you can go on there and see systematic teachings every Saturday, and you can see how I minister every Saturday. Because I'm not here to destroy, I'm here to fulfill. I love y'all, man, and peace. Job.